Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here at WCTV for everybody's favorite game show. This is Trick Question. I'm your host, mostly alive, Jack Hamilton Smith, here to start off a very special happy holiday season game of Trick Question. We are gathered here today with 3 new contestants from Massachusetts who are ready to risk it all. Let's go ahead and start with the rules. I'm going to go ahead and come out and help out because this spineless fella right here doesn't know a thing or two about how to play. Welcome again. We are back and ready for action. I'm Jack Hamilton Smith, like I said, and this is how we play. So welcome, guys. I hope you're ready. The rules of the game are simple. Players will pick questions grouped into different categories. The higher the point value, the harder the question. After I read the question and finish reading the question, you may hit your buzzer. Now, wait until I finish reading it before you hit your buzzer, otherwise you're disqualified. Now, there's no points for getting a wrong answer, but it does open up the game for someone else to steal. So you want to make sure you know what you're saying before you hit the buzzer, okay? However, the rules of Trick Question come to believing everything you read. I wouldn't do it. If you hit your buzzer and answer a trick question, you're going to lose points. So the only way to really get points is to sniff out a trick question and then hit that red big buzzer, okay? Pretty simple. If you don't hit the big red buzzer, you will lose points. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Perfect. Here's my example question to get it popping off. What blind flying mammal uses echolocation? Anybody want to take a guess? Trick question. What fantastic work there, Zoe. Wow. Yeah. As we all know, bats aren't blind, right? Now they may use echolocation, but every form of a bat can see. So this is the kind of trick questions that you'll be expected when playing the game. Gathered here today, we'll go through our contestants and see who's playing. First and foremost, to get it kicked off, we have Zoe, who is a local Wilmington resident. Am I right?
So true.
So true. Happy to be here, Zoe. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling ready to rumble.
Ready to rumble?
Ready to rumble.
Yeah, you think you're going to win today?
No, not even a little bit. But I'm ready to go down in like a flying cascade of Halloween spirit.
Much like Icarus, yeah. Zoe will burn out today.
You get me.
Congratulations, Zoe.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. We're so stoked to have you. Moving on to our second contestant, we do have Bryn, not from Wilmington.
Sorry.
Here from Woburn today. Bryn, how are you feeling?
Not confident at all. Definitely, probably going to get last place. That's what I'm aiming for, I think.
Oh, wow. All right, yeah. Well, you do know it's not like golf. The more points, the better, okay? I just want to be clear before we get going. Well, Bryn, thank you for your positive attitude and for being here, all right? Last but not least, I got to call out Aza for a little bit of specialness here because Aza is one of our producers on the show. Aza decided to risk it all and put themselves on the line. So, Aza, how are you feeling?
I mean, I normally write the questions for this show, so I got a lot riding on this.
Yes, yeah, and a lot of your credibility will be determined for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
so we thank you so much. Another Wilmington resident repping the hometown. So we got a couple heroes here to try to, take some claim and own up to WCTV's favorite game show. So I love it that you guys have all shown up. Let's go ahead and hop into the game, all right? So these are our categories today. The 6 questions above are the faces of fear, your grandparents' fear, your parents' fear, your fear, living nightmares, and the Halloween spirit. So just a little bit of clarification. Your grandparents' fear will be horror category questions from the 60s and earlier. So anything down 1800s, as early as time, right? Your parents' fear is going to be continually 70s to 90s. So we're just trying to get it blocked out. These are the things our parents grew up on, right? And then our own fear will be the movies that we now watch today and that keep the lights on at night. So we're trying to get it into sections, make it a little bit easier for you. The Faces of Fear is going to be a nice picture category. It's a new section for us here at Trick Question. Living Nightmares is going to be real geographical places that have haunted histories to them. And then finally, the Halloween spirit, it's all about consumerism, baby. And so capitalism gives us its own category today, and we're happy to share it with some fun Halloween facts. So thank you guys all for being here, and of course, this is a festive game. Now, Zoe, you hit the trick question buzzer, thus you get to pick the first category today. So thanks for playing the example. What do you want to go with?
All right, let's go with the Faces of Fear for 4.
Faces of Fear for 4, jumping in for some extra points to get it popping off. What line is associated with this image? Aza with confidence.
Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny. That was wonderful, Aza. This is from The Shining, 1980. Jack Nicholson portraying Jack Torrance. Line was an improv moment by Nicholson on set. They busted down that door over 80 times. It was a reference to Johnny Carson's introduction on his own Tonight Show. So iconic, and again, they say pictures don't have sounds, yet I heard that one clearly. So
I just watched that movie like 2 nights ago.
it's a wonderful movie.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's a fantastic season too, of course. But Aza, you're on the board clean with 400 points.
Okay.
So the credibility is holding. Where do you want to go from here?
Ooh, okay. I feel like I know maybe like 80s, 90s movies the best, so I'll go with Your Parents' Fear for 200.
Parents Fear for 200. Want to lob it up with an easy one. What is the name of the camp where the movie Friday the 13th takes place? Aza again.
Camp Crystal Lake.
Oh, Aza is feeling it. Aza, you are definitely here for the reputation. I can tell. Aza with another 200 points, 600 to get it kicking off. Come on, guys. We can't let Aza start flying this hot. What a start. Aza, you have 600 points. Camp Crystal Lake was the correct answer here. It's a fantastic series, of course. Where do you want to go from here?
Okay, I'm intrigued by this Halloween spirit category,
Yep.
so I'll do that for 400.
The Halloween spirit for 4. According to orders from Instacart, what was the most popular candy in Halloween of 2024? Bryn!
I don't know, Twix?
Twix was incorrect, but it was a good
damn.
rush to the, again, this is going to be a
Yeah.
chase to the buzzer today.
don't
Go
know.
for it, Zoe.
M&M's.
M&M's is also incorrect. No, this is it's a lot of candy options. So, who was the king of candy in 2024? Aza.
Kit Kat?
Kit Kat is incorrect. That's 0 for 3 from our contestants. We were
Oh,
looking for
of course.
a Reese's peanut butter cup. You know, peanut butter chocolate flavor. Everybody loves it. Yeah, so that's going to be a clean 400 points going back to me, which is great. I love that because we really love Reese's peanut butter cups here at WCTV. We're going to get this one going. I'm going to let you pick the next category, Bryn.
I'm gonna try Your Own Fear for 200.
Your Own Fear for
easy.
200. Facing your own fears is a big deal. The Final Destination series is famous for its opening disaster. The opening disaster sequences, can you name any of them? Any of them? Ooh, Zoe.
An airplane crash.
The plane crash from Final Destination 1 is a totally acceptable answer. We obviously would have accepted any of these, but the plane crash from the OG, that is a fantastic one to get it started. So there you go, getting on the board, Zoe.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, quick hand there. Zoe, you get to pick the next category, so.
Let's go with Your Parents' Fear for 400.
Your Parents' Fear for 4. At the beginning of Scream, what was Casey Becker cooking while the killer called her? We're going to give it to the sound buzzer just because it was a complete hit, so I'm going to give it to Aza on this one. It wasn't your fault, but yeah, the intensity is revving up. Aza, go ahead.
Popcorn.
Popcorn, yeah, this is the famous Drew Barrymore scene. You know, do you guys like scary movies? Popcorn on the stove, it's a classic. Aza, running away with it, I think that puts you at 1,000. So, way to keep it going. You get to pick the next category.
Oh gosh. Okay. I will go with Your Grandparents' Fear for 200.
Yeah, here we go. Breaking into the old school. Mostly recognized for his cameo in SpongeBob SquarePants, which 1922 silent German expressionist horror icon received a 2024 remake by director Robert Eggers? Zoe, you got there just in time.
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu is correct. Yeah. Fantastic poll right there, and of course, fantastic movie. So, shout out to you guys. That is the queen of the 200 column, it seems like so far. So 400 points, and you're rocking and rolling, Zoe. What else do you think, dude?
Let's go the Halloween Spirit for 800.
Halloween for 8. Oh, you're trying to catch up. I
Yeah,
love
I
that.
can't just do 200.
In the 2000s to 2010s, Spirit Halloween ran costume commercials using what Michael Jackson song in the background? Zoe.
Thriller?
Zoe, I'm so sorry, but this was a trick question. So, yes, the song was Thriller, but it was Party City. Party City famously ran the same commercial for over a decade, where they definitely spent too much money on the rights for Thriller. But Party City ran that commercial from 2009 to 2016, and they filed for bankruptcy in 2023. So shouts out to Party City and its historic run, but more importantly, shouts out to negative 800 coming to your way, Zoe. That's going to put you,
Back on the board at 0.
I understand the ambition, and I love that you wanted to try and catch up to Oz. We may have put the horse in front of the hare, you know what I mean? So,
It seems way too obvious to me, just Thriller.
well, we're going to let Bryn pick the next category here.
Okay. I'll try Your Own Fear for 1,000.
Your Own Fear for 1,000. So keeping it in our generation. The reverse bear trap, shotgun carousel, and the needle pit are all featured in what 2000s horror franchise? Zoe, quick hand.
Saw.
Saw is correct. 1,000 points to clean it up.
Back to the dead.
Back in the positive. CPR.
That is the absolute best way to work your way out of it. So there you go. So yeah, the Saw franchise. I mean, huge movies franchise. We're banging out another movie almost every year. It's been a really impressive run for those guys. So shout out to Jigsaw. And Zoe, you're back in the positive. You get to pick the next question. So.
Excellent. Let's go with Living Nightmares for 400.
Ooh, Living Nightmares for 4. Located off the coast of California, the prison island known as Azkaban has a total of 14 escape attempts done by 36 inmates. Of those 36 inmates, how many have successfully escaped the prison? Aza went with the trick question. Is there a reason?
Because Azkaban's from Harry Potter.
That would be a trick question, and way to not get too caught up in the mythology there. Yeah, Azkaban is fictional. No one has actually escaped Alcatraz on top of that, but Sirius Black did get out of Azkaban. So shout out to you for knowing your Harry Potter lore there. Me as a dyslexic, I would have probably thought on that one for a long time and just been like, was it the Prisoner of Alcatraz or the Prisoner of Azkaban? But good sniffing. And that puts you at a commanding 1,400 points. So big swing there. What did you want to go from here?
Let's do Faces of Fear 1,000.
Faces of Fear for 1,000. These characters are all examples of what horror trope? Aza.
The Final Girl.
Final Girl is correct. Featured, of course, was Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street, Laurie from Halloween, Ripley from Alien, and then Grace from the film Ready or Not. Another 1,000 points going to Aza, the Final Girl, just one of the most iconic characters. And we are looking at, I think we should be at 10 points, or 10 questions now. So we're going to have another 5, and then we'll take a little check-in to see how we're all doing mentally, right? And Aza, you're on fire. You get to pick another category. So.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Let's do Your Grandparents' Fear for 400.
Your Grandparents' Fears for 400. Often called the poet of Halloween, Edgar Allan Poe's work has influenced so much of modern society. What poem by Poe went on to inspire a mascot for an NFL franchise? Bryn.
This could be wrong, but I think it's just called The Raven.
The Raven is correct. That's the exact poem we were looking for. Baltimore Ravens actually claimed Poe after he died in Baltimore. So famous for being a Massachusetts born and raised guy, he is a very devout Baltimore resident if you ask anybody from that area, because Maryland claims him heavily. But the Ravens completely absorbed that energy and made that an entire franchise.
This is particularly devastating for Zoe.
I know. I was thinking about the Ravens, and I was like, are they an NFL team, or is this a trick question? That was my problem here.
I was given enough knowledge that you guys had great horror literature and some background on this, but I had this gut feeling none of the horror literature fans would think. So I had to throw one of them in there, just a slight. But I'm glad that I got you on the board, Bryn. And where do you want to go from here?
I'll go the Halloween Spirit for 1,000.
The Halloween Spirit for 1,000. Big money. Before pumpkin carving, Scottish and Irish people would traditionally carve what as protective charms? With ferocity, Bryn.
Turnips.
Root vegetables, specifically turnips and rutabagas.
Okay.
That is a perfect answer. Thank you for that. Yeah. We would have accepted rutabagas. I was hoping someone would have said rutabaga. But any root vegetable would have been an acceptable answer. So there you go, Bryn. You are locked into second place with that. So big swing there. You had a lot of passion. There was a lot of history in that. You knew that deep, I could tell. That was deep in your bones that you knew about this, yeah.
I don't know if this is cheating, but I did do another Halloween quiz earlier this week, and that might have been one of the questions.
Okay, yeah.
But
I wouldn't call it cheating, but I also didn't make the rules. So, we're going to keep things going on, and you get to pick the next category.
I'll do Your Grandparents' Fear for 600.
Your Grandparents' Fear for 6. After experiencing a fever-induced dream detailing how the transformation takes place, author Robert Louis Stevenson would go on to write what famous horror fiction novella? Zoe, you went for the trick question, and I gotta let you know now that it's not one. So that is your turn, which is okay.
All right.
But you guys keep that in mind. Zoe dove on that grenade.
Thank you, Zoe.
This is 60s and out?
Correct. Or 60s and back, actually.
60s and back.
Yeah, so anything that doesn't include 70s forward. Bryn?
What is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
It wasn't necessary to say what is, but it is correct. The strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yeah.
Okay.
100% on the nose. We love to see it. He suffered he nearly died, basically. And then when he came out from that, he realized that there was an amazing story about this gross transformation and dysmorphing that happens when you get sick. So a fantastic book, fantastic play, if you ever had a chance to see it. But Bryn, you were rocking with another 600 points going your direction. You get to keep picking the categories. So I want to check in real quick. We got 3 more questions before we are going to, or sorry, 1 more question before we are going to take a break and just do a mental wellness check, yeah? So Bryn, where do you want to go?
Let's try Living Nightmares for 600.
Living Nightmares for 6. How many people were burned at the stake during the Salem witch trials? Bryn.
Oh.
I think it's a trick question.
Sorry, it wasn't a trick question. But I know where your head is at on this, so we can talk about that in a second. Anyone else want to take a guess? Zoe?
0?
Well done, Zoe. It was 0. There was 19 hangings, 1 pressing.
Yeah.
But yeah, 0. Now it was up for debate on being a trick question or not, but it's an absolute answer of 0. So we wanted to just kind of give credit to where it's due.
Shout out to Giles Corey, the one guy who was pressed.
It's true.
Yeah, and not only was he pressed, he said, "Press me harder. I'm not claiming to be a witch." And I love that. He did it for his family. Go to the Salem Witch Museum. You'll learn a lot. We're gonna keep things popping. Way to sniff that one out, Zoe. 600 points. This should get us to about the halfway mark, if my math is correct. So I want to just kind of stop in real fast, see how we're doing. We're gonna start with you, Zoe. You just nailed that last question. That's awesome. The score total should have you pretty close. It's not like you're far away where you can't get it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I see 3,000 points at least. And what do you think after the first 15 questions? How are you feeling about the game?
Feeling all right. There are a few questions that I'm going to get bullied for not getting later. But overall, there have been some ups, there have been some downs.
Yeah.
We're going for a steady plateau to victory at this point onwards.
You want to hit your equilibrium.
Yeah,
eventually.
exactly.
All right,
exactly.
yeah, I can feel that. You have taken the most stabs, so I respect that. You know what I mean?
I'm trying.
Yeah. Now we're gonna check in with Bryn. You've kind of been on a serious run in the last 6 questions. Leading up to this halfway mark, you kind of tore it up. So how does that feel?
Well, I was planning on staying at 0, so getting 1 or 2 is pretty nice. I think it was all luck. I don't credit my knowledge for anything. I think it was complete chance, by the way.
The person who took a pre-quiz said this was all
Right.
happenstance. Yeah, good. All right, well. And Aza, of course, you are a reigning producer. You are what the streets are saying, the most credible person in the game right now.
Hey, you said it on me.
So I just want to know. I just want to know how it feels to be ahead right now. You've been ahead since the game started. So.
That is true. I'm not feeling quite secure yet. I know how ephemeral these points can be, and I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
I love that, and I think that's the right mentality because you never know when this game is going to stab you in the back, right? So as we move on into our next 15, 16 questions, I think our last correct answer was from Zoe, right?
Yes.
So Zoe, you get to pick the next question.
Excellent. Let's go with your parents' fear for 800.
Your parents' fear for 8. In Child's Play, what is revealed to be Chucky's real name? Full name, just so we're clear. We want his Christian name.
I know part of it.
You got more than I got, so.
A part of you that knows where Chucky comes from, that helps. But the other parts, that's the rub,
Charles Lee something with a J. Charles Lee John.
I'm gonna have to call that incorrect.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were right there. If anyone else wants to take a stab at it, we can all figure out what Aza did wrong in a second.
Charles Lee Johnson.
That's also incorrect. That's also incorrect.
I'll take you down with me.
That is also incorrect. In a sense, Aza may have put us all down the wrong path. But
Oh, wait.
so
okay.
final opportunity here, Bryn. For a free 800 points, if you want to just throw out a word or a couple words, but I'm going to say this up front that respectively, you guys were so close. So close.
Okay.
We were so close, yeah.
I have honestly no idea, but like Charles Lee Jacob?
So Charles Lee J would have been a great answer if it wasn't Charles Lee Ray. And thus the J really kind of sent us down
That was all you, man.
a little bit of a rabbit chase.
I said it before and I said it again. If I'm going down, you're going down with me.
The biggest brain move there was to say it wrong and then just leave everybody else. When you're ahead, what's there to lose, right? So yeah, we're gonna call that calculated by the producer, Aza. And, nobody got that one right, so I'm gonna let Zoe pick it again since you're rocking 1,000 points, okay?
All right, let's go the Halloween Spirit 600.
Halloween Spirit for 600 is Halloween Spirit may be the first category we close out, which is nice. Which Midwest state is responsible for producing the most pumpkins in the entire United States?
My
So
hand is
Aza's
up.
hand was first. Aza, this is not a trick question. So Zoe, congratulations.
It was all
You may have
strategic.
lost the race, but you did win the race, so it's okay. Yeah, the most impressive thing is to name a Midwest state.
That's
That's the most
That's
impressive
the
part of
rub.
the whole question here is to know your Midwest states. So
You know it's going to be embarrassing when it's not a Midwest state.
that's fair. You gotta just make sure it's not a coastal state.
Yeah.
I think that's better.
Iowa?
Iowa is not a bad guess, but that's incorrect.
All right.
That is incorrect, yeah.
Just gonna guess a state, Indiana.
Indiana was my guess when I read this question, but that's also incorrect. We were looking for Illinois.
Yeah.
Which is why Indiana was a really good
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, really good guess.
Yeah.
And if Aza wasn't thinking we were trying to trick him, then Aza may have been able to work that out too. We just got to throw this out there though. A lot of the time, most states are famous for decorative pumpkins, the ones that you want to carve and leave on your porch. Illinois runs the pumpkin game because they're in charge of creating and selling the pie fillings and the pumpkins that we use for most cooking resources and stuff. So it's processed pumpkins. That's what makes them the king of pumpkins. So, a little unknown fact about Illinois. The things they don't tell you about Illinois. So as we're sitting here again, we got 1,000 points for Zoe, Bryn with 2,000, and Aza at 2,400. Let's get some action going, guys. Let's get some movement, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and let reigning champ pick the next question here, just for.
It's not
interview.
closing out a category, but it's been bugging me since it happened. Your own fear for 400.
We're closing out the 400s. I like the bingo square. Name the 3 theatrical films directed by Jordan Peele. Aza, without even hesitation.
Get Out, Us, Nope.
Perfect. Absolutely flawless. Yeah, and those are the big 3. His production company, Monkey's Paw, though, has been producing and putting a lot of other directors on. He's produced countless horror classics over the years, recently Him, and of course something like The Candyman in 2021. But of course, Get Out, absolutely game changer of a horror film. Was nominated for 3 Oscars and walked away, of course, with Best Original Screenplay. So shout out to you, Jordan Peele. You've been such a success, and we're happy to have it. Aza, you get another clean 400 points, 2,800. Where do you want to go from here?
I gotta close out another one. Let's do Halloween Spirit for 200.
Halloween Spirit. So we're going across and up and down. Often, Halloween costume companies change the name on the packaging to avoid a copyright issue. With this in mind, Blue Speed Mouse is a costume of what popular video game character? Which is so close. All right, so if I'm going to be completely in the nature of honesty, and I'll run it back and put it in the edit if I have to, but I want to say Bryn kept her hands in her lap until I finished the question. And Zoe, thank you for your honesty. So Bryn, you get to take the one here.
Sonic?
Sonic the Hedgehog, aka Blue Mouse. Yeah, Blue Speed Mouse is the cleanest way to copyright it is just to say it completely wrong. So 200 points to you, Bryn. Very nice. You get to pick the next category.
Let's do Your Own Fear for 800.
Your Own Fear for 8. Demi Moore won the 2025 Best Actress in a Leading Role Oscar for her role in what horror movie? Aza.
The Substance.
I'm sorry, Aza. This is a trick question.
Oh.
That was a huge save by you. You beat Bryn out, and Bryn was so quick to be like, Aza got me. And the correction here is she was nominated for her role, but she did not win. Well-known Mikey Madison won for Nora. Now, she did win the Golden Globe Screen Actors Guild Award. She pretty much cleaned up most of the award ceremonies, but the Oscar went to Mikey for Nora. So we love you anymore. And that's a fantastic movie. But yeah, no, that was a close call there, Aza. I know you're beating yourself up a little bit for falling into
How
that
the mighty
one.
have fallen.
And again, that's the nature of the race. I mean, y'all sped to that one, so that was really good. Bryn, you've taken the lead. You went from being a 0 in your heart to 2,200 on the board, and we cannot be more ecstatic. So, Bryn, I'm gonna let you take the next question here, actually.
Okay, I'll do your grandparents' fear for 1,000.
Your grandparents' fear for 1,000. I love the big point questions. Milestone zombie film The Evil Dead controversially cast a black man as the lead and then used zombies to reflect the racial and social tensions of this era. Who directed this 1968 classic? So you already hit the button. And
it's a trick
And it's a
question?
trick question. I'm sorry.
I'm digging my grave.
Also, you were about to grab the 1,000 points, but we got to go ahead and toss it up to the penalty. Yeah, I'm so sorry about this. This is a trick question here. Seconds away from a clean 1,000 points. But George A. Romero is the director of Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
The Evil Dead was directed by Sam Raimi. It didn't come out until about 20, 30 years later. But the classic that we were describing is the original zombie film, Night of the Living Dead. So we kind of set you up there. I apologize. But before we even move on, what were you going to guess?
Romero.
No.
Yeah, I'm so
I got
sorry.
locked in on
No,
the
I know.
description,
You were
not
so
the
fired
number.
up.
I was so ready.
You were so fired up. No, yeah, the Evil Dead, if you guys aren't familiar, by Sam Raimi, is about spirits and dark spirits and evil monsters. But Evil Dead without the is a reboot that they did in 2013. I own Evil Dead. I thought I had the Evil Dead. I was really disappointed. So we're gonna keep things going, and Zoe, you are sitting with a goose egg, cleaned out 0. But I'm gonna be honest with you, the highest numbers are still available. So quick math, you nail these 2,000 pointers or one of the 800s, you're literally right back in it, okay?
Yep.
So Oz, I'm gonna let you pick the next category.
Okay, let's do your parents' fear for 1,000.
Your parents' fear for 1,000. What 1974 horror movie was the first to use machinery as a weapon? Zoe.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It was such a layup. You had to hesitate. I understand. No, it's such a layup. You almost think it's too obvious. You know what I mean? But no, that's our 1,000 pointer. That's our 1,000
Yes!
pointer. Yeah. That's exactly the one we're talking about. It's one of the first slashers ever. Truly first slashers ever. And it was really grimy when it came out, but it's based on a real story of a really dark guy in Texas. I grew up in Texas, and I can tell you that everybody swears they know him. Everybody has a friend of a friend that knows his prison guard or something, but that's how influential the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was. So I loved your hesitation. but down 1,000, back 1,000.
That's how we do.
It's like you never left, right?
Yeah,
It's like you
yeah.
never left. So Zoe, you get to go. You get to go
Going
again.
for the last 1,000. Let's do it.
Claim it while you can. Living Nightmares, what is the name of the man who committed mass murder, forever cursing this Amityville, New York residency? So the famous Amityville horror series all started because one man committed mass murder. Do we know his name? That's all I'm asking. I love that you went for that. It's a safe option because it's
Yep.
not a trick question, but you don't lose anything.
That was
And
my
I'm
thought.
so
You know,
grateful.
strategy,
This is the safest.
strategy.
You're playing the long game here. I can see it. I can see it. There's a lot of strats that have been pulled out today. So I'm digging this. This is probably the hardest question of the whole game, if I'm going to be very honest with you. But just a crazy history built off of this one man's legacy. So. And I will take this time to remind you there is a third option, which is skip. You can just pass the
That is
question.
true.
No harm, no foul, obviously. But if you feel like throwing out a random murderer's name, there's a chance you could get 1,000 points. So.
The problem is that I don't think I know any mass murderers from New York.
Right?
Now, Kentucky, Kansas, Texas, New York, I don't know my New York mass murderers. So.
I think I have to skip.
Aza is elected to skip. Bryn,
You don't lose any points?
if you just hit your buzzer and throw out a name, you could get 1,000 points.
This is probably wrong. I'm going to say Manson just because.
No, that's fine.
That's a
no harm.
murderer.
That's a murderer. Yeah.
This would have been a really cool moment to take a political statement and call out somebody else. But instead, we're going to talk about Ronald DeFeo Jr. So this man committed, he killed 6 people, his entire family. Then their cursed spirits now live in the Amity house. That house was sold for like less than $80,000 and then resold immediately following because of its really, really scary reputation. So understandably, you guys aren't woke on rodeo. But so we're going to keep this going though. And I'm going to let you, Zoe, pick this next category.
All right, let's go with Living Nightmares 800.
Living for 8. Currently docked in Long Beach, California, where it serves as a hotel restaurant, what famous ghost ship is believed to host up to 150 spirits? What are you thinking?
Queen Victoria?
That is incorrect. That is incorrect. It's really close. It's the only hint I'll say.
Queen Elizabeth.
Man, we are doing it. We are really really close. but unfortunately, that is incorrect.
Queen Anne?
Yeah, these are all fantastic names for queens. The queen we were looking for is Mary. RMS Queen Mary, yeah. The RMS Queen Mary has another tremendous history of just many ship-based accidents and lost seamen. So as we sit now, we remember the RMS Queen Mary and the Anne and the Elizabeth. So we keep things going, guys. There's a ton of points still on the board. We're not even worried about it, right? Bryn, I'll let you pick the next category here, okay?
I guess your grandparents' fear for 800?
Cool, we're gonna close out the final fears category. Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 film Psycho is famous for its groundbreaking shower scene. Now, this scene is burned into most people's minds for its unnerving score, but who is the composer of this iconic score? It's one of the goats of thriller suspense composing, this guy. And Aza with the click to kill the silence. Aza.
I know this is probably definitely wrong, but I also know he does some composing. John Carpenter.
That is definitely wrong. Yeah, no, I honestly thought you were about to say John Williams. I was gonna be like, all right, well,
John Zimmer.
you're like, I know he does some composing. John Williams. No. That is gonna be incorrect. But as Aza just proved, not a trick question. So
You're welcome.
If there's like
Thanks.
if there's a composer in your heart that you think was around in the 60s, take a jab.
It's not going to be right, but the only guy I can think of is Sondheim.
Psycho composed by Sondheim.
I just want to give him a
Crazy.
shout out.
Yes. Just taking this opportunity to shout out you, Stephen Sondheim,
Just for you.
wherever you are. Yeah, no, I do think Psycho, the Broadway musical.
That's what I'm pitching
That
here.
would slap.
yeah.
That would
That's what I'm
slap.
pitching
Yeah,
here.
I think on this show alone we've pitched 3 different types of musicals. So, but no, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's gonna be incorrect, obviously. But I do dig your idea. And you have anything for us, Brent?
I'm just going to pass on this
That's
one.
fair. No, that's fair. So we're talking about your grandparents' fear, and most people from our grandparents' age fear Bernard Herrmann. Bernard Herrmann is notable, of course, for convincing Hitchcock that the scene needed a composition. Hitchcock wanted it to be completely silent, just the scream. He convinced him he needed to add something for a little bit extra. But he's also most notable for creating the twisted nerve whistle, which is most famously heard in Kill Bill Part 1 and 2. So that all comes to us from Bernard Herrmann. So we want to take a moment and shout you and Stephen Sondheim out. As we pass on another 800 here, we've got a couple thousand points still sitting on the board. We are locked and loaded with Aza in firm second place right now. Bryn with a surprising lead to first place, and Zoe holding strong at 1,000 points, which we love. And so, so I'll let you pick this next question, okay?
Let's do the Faces of Fear for 800.
Faces of Fear for 8. You know, this is probably the easiest category, and I love that y'all just saved it. Who are the 2 actors portraying Pennywise? Featured. You're gonna have to give this one to Zoe, I think.
We've got Tim Curry and freaking Skarsgård, Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård, you squeezed it out there. That was a close one.
I was like, no, I got him.
I wasn't gonna be able to accept freaking as the first name. But, Bill Skarsgård, Tim Curry, 2 icons of horror. Tim Curry did it on the TV adaptation, and Bill Skarsgård for the most recent 2-parter. So fantastic work there. And Zoe, you needed those points.
I really did.
Yeah, you needed those points.
I really did.
That came in clutch.
I've been trying really hard.
No, you were jumping.
It hasn't
You were
been like
really
effort
jumping
here.
No, so you get to pick the next category.
Let's keep with Faces of Fear, 600.
Faces of Fear for 6. What is the name of this character? Zoe again.
That's the Babadook right there.
That is Mr. Babadook. Yes, because if it's in a word or if it's in a look, you can't escape the Babadook. We are keeping things alive, and Zoe, you have turned this game around.
No, don't jinx me here.
I don't want to put too much attention on it, but you do get to pick the next question.
Let's go with Your Own Fear, 600.
Your Own Fear for 6. Co-written by Joss Whedon and directed by Drew Goddard. What is the name of the 2012 science fiction comedy horror famous for its satire and deconstruction of the horror genre? It's a very influential movie to come out in our own time, of course, but 2012, Joss Whedon, Drew Goddard. Zoe?
I don't know if it's 2012 or Joss Whedon, but Cabin in the Woods?
That is the exact answer we were looking for. Yes! We're not going to harp you on the extra Z, but The Cabin in the Woods is a total breakdown of the satires coming to all horror tropes. It's a really great movie. If you haven't watched it, it's a fun family watch. I'd recommend it. That's 600 points to you. Zoe, you've taken the lead.
Oh, yeah!
And you are with 3,000 points, if my math is correct. Sometimes isn't. You get to pick the next question, too. We've got 3 questions left, folks. At this point in time, this may have phased Aza out. It just depends on the trick question nature of the game. So with 3 questions left, let's see how it goes. Zoe, where do you want to go?
I'm so scared. Let's do the 600.
Your parents feared for 6. During the filming of the 1976 horror adaptation Carrie, what 2 common items were combined to create the goat's blood from the prom scene? Aza with a commanding slap of the trick question buzzer. What's the issue?
It's pig's blood.
Yep.
This is a trick question, Aza. Nothing's going to get by you. 600 points, it was pig's blood, and it's cornstarch and red dye. So fantastic, Aza. This is going to put this to the very neck-and-neck game, man. This is going to be the closest game in the history of trick question, I think. Aza is sitting at 2,600 points. There's 400 points left. If Aza can get both of these correct and tie Zoe, Bryn is completely out of here. If Bryn can get both these correct and tie Aza, we'll have to go to a sudden death, in which case only one of them will walk out alive. So, let's go to this next one. Aza, you're on fire. What do you want to do?
Living Nightmares for 200.
Living Nightmares for 2. Fill in the blank. Blank blank took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. Should say 40. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. I'm going to give this to Aza. Aza definitely hit that buzzer first, but Aza, what do you got for me?
Lizzie Borden.
Lizzie Borden is correct, yes. American woman acquitted in 1893 for the brutal murders of her father and stepmother. Proud Massachusetts famous person. So Lizzie Borden for 200. Aza, that puts you at 28. You are right on the heels here. And the only possible...
I'm so scared, dude.
This is real nerve-wracking. And we got 200 points left. Final question, folks. This is the face of what iconic horror franchise? Zoe, you hit the button first, and I hate to ask you, but what's the question? What's the answer?
Scream?
I'm so sorry. This is a trick question. Aza saw it. Aza, you were right there. This isn't Ghostface. This is the killer from the Scary Movie franchise, one of the many famous faces. My photo here is the killer, and this is Ghostface. It's uncanny, the resemblance.
I got nothing to say.
But as you can tell, this guy's kind of a sad moper. This guy's a real murderer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Zoe,
Doesn't have
I'd be more heartbroken if it changed anything. but you just lost 200 points, tying Aza, which means both
the
you and
end.
Aza will move on to the next round. We're just going to check in with Bryn real quick before we move on, but that was all 30 of our questions. Bryn, how are you feeling?
Well, I can always say I told you so.
Even if she didn't get the questions right, she was never wrong, folks. And so let's never forget that. But Bryn, you absolutely wrecked today, okay? I really do think before the game, someone had already said it was going to be a matter of who can get there the quickest, right? It was just a race to the buzzer, but you were right there all game long. You held that lead for pretty much half the game, so it's really impressive. Would you like to come back and play sometime? Is the real question. Would you play again? Is all we want to know.
If there were easier questions, for sure.
Understandable. Well, we thank you so much for playing. With 2,800 points, both Zoe and Aza will be moving on to our final round, where they will contend to see who is the real master of Trick Question today. So we're going to be right back after this, and thank you guys so much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us again. We are here for the final round of Trick Question. I am your host, of course, Jack Hamilton Smith, and this is The Trickster's Bluff. The Trickster's Bluff is brought to you today by our third place contestant, Bryn. Thank you, Bryn. Couldn't have done it without you. Facing off in our regular Trickster's Bluff, before we get into the rules, we got to settle something. Who gets to make the call? So usually whoever has the leading score gets to, get a little slight advantage here in the game. But today we'll decide it with a quick game of rock, paper, scissors. First one to win gets to make the call, okay? We understand?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're gonna go on go. Rock, paper, scissors, go. Understood?
Okay.
Start your engines. And rock, paper, scissors, go. We tied on scissors. Run it again. Rock, paper, scissors, go. Rock, beat scissors. And Zoe, you get to make the pick. Congratulations, you earned it.
Okay. I will look.
Okay, we're gonna go over the rules just to make sure you know everything real fast.
Okay.
So the Trickster's Bluff is really simple. Just believe half of what you hear and none of what you see. So our scoring champion, now determined by rock, paper, scissors, Zoe, will get to look inside the box and then describe what she sees to Aza. If they like what they see, they can tell the complete truth, or they can come up with a complete fabrication. It will then be Aza's decision to determine whether this is true or false, with a cross-examination option of up to 3 questions. So if Aza chooses so, they may interview you to double-check your nerve and confirm before we officially decide the winner of the Halloween special trick question. So as we get this going, you said you wanted to look inside the box, is that correct?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna slide this box over as carefully as possible. And when you are ready, feel free to flip and look inside.
Okay.
It's kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Oh, nerve-wracking.
I don't like being on this side of the
I was
table.
about to say, it's so much easier when you're on the other side of the camera, ain't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready, Zoe?
I'm ready.
All right, now please give us a very specific description so that we can use that for context, okay?
Okay. What you have here in this box is an old-fashioned rotary phone on the left side and a little stuffed bird with safety goggles on the right side.
Okay. What type of bird is it?
First question.
It's like a very simplistic little bird with like some red and white striped belly. It's got a winter scarf on. Like one of the ones that you would buy in Stop and Shop for $3. I say knowing that I've bought little Stop and Shop birds.
Okay. So you said it's a rotary phone and then a bird wearing goggles.
Yeah.
What color is the rotary phone?
Second question.
It was like brown.
Okay. The goggles.
Yes.
Did they seem like they were for a purpose? Did he perhaps have a profession?
Kind of like They were tinted like they were sunglasses, but it was very much like safety goggles. Like it was like full attachment protection around the side.
That was our third question. So our cross-examination has finished. Aza, take a beat. When you're ready, you let us know. Zoe telling the truth? Or Zoe a liar?
I think that Zoe is telling the truth.
Aza has elected to call Zoe too sweet to lie. We
That's
will
not it.
check exactly inside to see whether or not Zoe was telling the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all mirrored. It was reversed. It was flipped. The facts were specific, but the details were skewed. You had an unreliable narrator. How you feeling?
I'll never forgive you for this.
I've won, but at what cost?
It's tense. It's tense right here. I can feel it. I know they know each other outside of this. And, Aza, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, Aza.
It's okay.
We're gonna have to stick here. Aza, if you wouldn't mind moving up to the
course.
rafter, we appreciate you so much for your efforts today.
Don't hate me.
Have a good night.
Now, Zoe, if you'll come stand here next to your winner's token, we want to congratulate you on successfully pulling the rug out from underneath Aza. We want to award you, of course, with your prize box, if you'd like to take a look inside.
All right.
It suits the contents, respectfully.
I fully thought this was empty.
No. That would be my greatest trick of all. No. You won an AMC gift card. Congratulations. It's a spooky movie season. You got to go see something new. So
Thank
we're
you.
hoping to hook you up here. It's not $31, but it's close enough. And so we want to say thank you so much for playing. Do you have any words you want to tell to the audience and the folks at home before we wrap it up?
I'm gonna bring Aza with me to the movies. Please don't hate me.
And we will tune in to find out whether or not that makes a difference. So I want to thank you so much for playing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And of course, we hope to see you again. I'm Jack Hamilton Smith,
It's been Zoe Marzi.
and
Woo.
this is Trick Question. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great night.
Thank you.